President, please be seated. The court is now in session. Before the chamber gives the floor to the defense team for Mr. Nguyen Chia to put questions to the witness, the chamber is now issue an oral ruling in relation to 2 TCW 920. The chamber notes that the co-prosecutors informed it of the existence of a prior DC Cam statement of 2 TCW 920 on case file 004. Considering that this is a public document and in order to avoid multiple requests to the International Co-Investigating Judge for disclosure, the chamber obtained the document directly from DCCAM and provided it to the parties in advance of the testimony of the witness, recalling the practice of the chamber to admit prior statements of testifying witnesses. The chamber now admits the DCCAM statement of 2 TCW 920 and accords it document number A3/10702, said the President. And the defense team for Mr. Kope requested the additional time to put question to the witness, this witness. And now the chamber decides the combined time for the concerned parties. So the total time for all parties is 1 day and a half. 3 sessions are given to the defense teams for the accused, and 3 sessions are given to the co-prosecutor and lead co-lawyers for civil party. And now the floor is given to the defense team for Mr. Nguyen Chia to put questions before other parties. You may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. I'm the International Counsel for Nguyen Chia, and I will be asking you some questions this afternoon. Let me start by asking you a few questions about what you did between 1975 and 1979. Can you describe that to the chamber? Where were you as of 17 April 75, and what did you do?
From 1975 to 1979, as asked by the council, I believe this is the question. I was part of a mobile unit carrying dirt, and after 1975, I remained working in that mobile unit up until 1976. After 1976, I was taken by Salpam's group to a zone. When I was placed in a zone, first I was made to plant vegetables, and I was military trained. And I was tasked with farming rice as well. At night time, I was told to be a guard, and when the older guards were removed and sent away, I was assigned to be a guard for Sao Pum, and I would accompany him wherever he went, and at night time I took shift with others, securing the protection for him, Sao Pum.
Thank you for that comprehensive answer, Mr. Witness. Just one or two follow-up questions. Is it correct that in respect of your position working for SOPIM, you received military training, that you were trained for several months? Is that correct?
Yes, I was military trained for a few months, but the trainings did not happen on a regular basis. Sometimes I missed the training sessions.
And one other follow-up question, Mr. Witness. You gave a lengthy statement to interviewers from an organization called DC Cam, and your statement is laid down in document E3/10716, and on English ERN 013-53342 and Khmer 013-40556. Mr. President, because of time issues, we were not able to do the French ERN, so my apologies for this. Mr. Witness, you said you were working at a defense office. Is that correct?
That is correct. I worked at a defense office of the zone.
And how many colleagues did you have in that defense office?
All of them were around 60, including male and female, but we did not work together in the morning. We would be divided and assigned to work in various locations.
Can you tell us who it was that at the time was the defense unit chairperson?
It was Pra Chua. He was the chief of the guard unit.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, let me turn to the person that you just mentioned already, Sao Pim. Is it correct that you were related to Sao Pim? And if yes, can you tell us, please, how you were related?
My deceased grandmother was related to him. My deceased grandmother was his cousin. So I was a distant relative. I do not know clearly about the family relation with him, but my mother told me that my deceased grandmother was related to him.
And at the time, in 1976, when Saupim asked you to become a member of his defense unit, did Saupim know that you were related to him?
He knew that I was the child of someone related to him. I was quite young at the time. I was not sure at the time how I was related to him. The elder people would know clearly.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Mr. President, I would like to show one of 3 photos that I have assembled to the witness. With your leave, I would like to start with showing the witness photograph E3/3259. There's one ear and only P, as in P from photo, 004-16559. I have a copy for the witness, and I can also, with your leave, put it on the screen.
President, yes, you can proceed.
Mr. Witness, do you recognize anyone on this photo?
I recognize one individual. He is Saupam. He looked young in this photo, and when I was assigned to work with him, he already had a gray hair and was older compared to this picture. And as for others, I could not see their clear faces. I do not recognize them.
Mr. Witness, are you referring to the 3rd person on the left?
President, please look at the photo on the screen, and there is a red circle around one face. Witness, from the left, the man stand in the third man is Saupam, the one in the red circle.
And Mr. Witness, do you recognize the person who is immediately standing on the left of him, the 2nd person on the left, a person who is smiling?
It is not clear to me, the picture. I do not recognize him. I do not know who he is.
Well, you do know him, and we will be speaking quite extensively about him later today. That's Nguyen Chia. Do you recognize Nguyen Chia?
When he made a visit to the place where I was, I, at the time, did not recognize him well and did not know him well. I asked the elder people about the delegation to that location, and I was told that they were senior people, namely Nuon Chea and Pol Pot. I did not know them well at the time. I was told by others who they were. I was an outsider guard, so I, at the time, did not know specifically who they were, but I was told them and I tried to recognize their faces.
Well, let me follow up, Mr. Witness. Let me follow up about Nuon Chea. In your DC Chem interview, E3/10716, on English ERN 013-53347 and Khmer 013-40559, you said the following about Nuon Chea. Let me read it back to you. Back then, did you know Ta Nuon Chea well? And then you answer, Nuon Chea came to sleep at my office location 3 to 4 times. Of course I knew him. At which office did he sleep? He slept in Sung, the defense office. He slept at the defense office in Sung 3 to 4 times? Yes, Nuon Chea came pretty often. Nuon Chea, Son Sen, and Chun Chun and the like came pretty often. Is that something you remember saying 1 year ago, 1 year and a half ago, to the interviewers of DC Chem?
I may forget some information. I, at the time, did not know them clearly. I could not recognize them well since I was told by others, and it is different from this time that I can recognize and know their faces. It happened 30, 40 years ago. I may forget some information. All I knew back then was that that individual was Nuon Chea and that the other individual was Son Sen, for example. And I, from the time onward, tries to recognize their faces. But when I look at the photo, it appears that they don't look very similar to those I saw back then.
Well, let me move then to a second photo that I would like to show you, Mr. Witness. Maybe that photo is more clear to you. There's also another person I would like you to identify, if possible at all. Mr. President, E3/3250 I will be referring to. That is ERN P004165551. And with your leave, we can also put this photo on the screen.
Yes, please, said the President.
Just one general remark, because I think it happened a bit early last time. The red circle should only come one after an open question has been asked. It came a bit early last time.
Yes, no problem. Mr. Witness, I will assist you a little bit here. This is a group of high-ranking CPK leaders. It's at Pochington Airport. And let me go from right to left. The person on the right with the krama on, that's Pol Pot. Right next to him is Nguyen Chia. Right next to him is So Pim. Then we see Ieng Sary. Then we see Von Vet. Then we see Koi Toon. And then we come to a little man, relatively little man on the left.
President, please hold on. Judge Alban, you may have the floor now.
Je comprends pas très.
Council Kope, I don't understand very well the goal of indicating all of the identities of the people who are in this photo. Are you testifying yourself, or would you like for the witness to testify? It seems to me that if you want the witness to testify, it would be good to let him take the floor and to not ask him who each person is. We're here to listen to you.
I will only be seeking his evidence in relation to the person on the left. The rest, that is very obvious to us. So I don't need him to identify those people. I'm just assisting him a bit. So, Mr. Witness, my interest is on is about the little, relatively little person on the left with a krama on. Is that someone that you recognize?
I seem not to recognize him seeing this photo. Perhaps I may recognize him if I can see him directly, physically.
Well, that won't be possible anymore, I'm afraid. Do you know someone named Phung, P-H-U-O-N-G, chief of the rubber plantations, member of the Central Committee, and also the number 2 of the East Zone? Phung.
I do not know Phung. I have never seen this person, although I encounter him now. I do not know him because no one told me at the time about him.
That's no problem. Thank you, Mr. Witness. And Mr. President, with your leave, I would like to show my last photo, third and last photo to the witness, and ask him whether he is in a position to recognize this person. I will show on the screen and a copy of a still from a documentary that I have shown earlier to other East Zone witnesses. It's film E3/3015R, and it's the person that one can see at 1 minute 53.
Yes, you may proceed.
Do we get it on the screen?
Yes, it's going to be on the screen.